Hello, and welcome to another week of the Abuse Cartoons live stream. Wow, we've got quite a crowd this week. Wow, yeah. So we got rated last week by let me get this right, by a group from. Oh wow. By Hyphonics, yes. So rated by Hyphonics, and back again this week. So hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in. So this is the same weekly drawing. Oh, very cool. So this is the same weekly drawing session, and the cartoon is on GoComics.com along with a lot of other stuff. So good to have everybody back. All right, and just like always, the random Windows restart gave me the good sensitivity this week. Yeah, it's very strange. I think I've complained before, the Cintiq and then the Windows, whatever it's called, Ink Workspace don't like each other, so the drivers are fighting. But it looks like this week it's nice and smooth. So hopefully we can get something to look good. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Yeah, nice. Wow. Well, I appreciate the crowd. Yeah, very good. So how is everyone doing tonight? I guess it's, depending on where you guys are, it may be pretty late. But, yeah, this is a day later than I usually. I try to do Sunday night, but, yeah, my schedule is different from week to week. So it looks like Monday night, North American time. So what is that? That is, oh yeah, like 10:30 LA, about 1:30 New York time. So hello everyone. All right, so just warm up with some different objects. Here we go. Yes, the name of the cartoon. Well, it was named in 2002, but yeah, the joke is that it's things found around the house. It's everyday objects, and it's, they're dealing with verbal abuse or physical abuse from people using them or breaking them. So dishes being broken or packaging being opened. But yeah, the joke is the scale of something bad in your life. So these little objects are acting out the dramas that people have in their real life, and there is not really a scale. What one person sees as abusive or hurtful, another person may not even notice. So trying to make the humor in that scale. So it's a funny and a little sad cartoon often, but yeah, I've had that reaction for quite a while. But it got syndicated, so it's not that crazy. But I guess in more sensitive political times, it's sounding stranger and stranger. But the title is a good kind of gateway, because I think the jokes are a certain kind of humor, and I don't think everybody gets it. And so if the title is off-putting, then it'll kind of keep you from reading it. So it's a good gatekeeper as far as people that would get why it's called that won't mind the overall tone. But yeah, I've heard that a lot. And I did a collection. So after the first 1,000 cartoons, I did a collection of the kind of best 85, I think. And so in the book, I did an introduction and kind of explained the origin of the cartoon and of the title itself. But yeah, so that has That's always been a thing, but it hasn't held it back from, kind of mainstream popularity. And it's too bad there really isn't, and this is more, I guess, a magazine style cartoon. The single panel gag cartoon is more magazine than it is newspaper, because that's comic strips, usually at least 3 panel. But yeah, the print cartoon is on its way out, so that's why this is all digital. There is no new space, or there's no people will just keep reprinting Peanuts and Garfield forever if they can. So they're not making any more space in newspapers for cartoons. And I guess there's still, all the big cities in the U.S. still have the free papers, the kind of free press stuff. But but I've done okay digitally. So that's where it is. So I'm on a Cintiq. It's a little bit older one, a 24-inch Cintiq tablet, and then just got a little Logitech webcam, and then a Blue Yeti mic for the sound. So I had to put the Yeti on a stand. So it's on a microphone stand, not on the table, because originally I was on the table, and then every time I would use a keyboard shortcut, it would be so loud on the mic, it sounded ridiculous. And also anytime I bumped the table. So the mic is kind of floating. You can see it's like right in front of my face here. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So the mic's right there, and I just try to keep it off screen. And then it's just a Windows PC, a little bit older Windows PC, but I still do like video editing and stuff on it. But yeah, and probably about a little more than 5 years ago, I went all digital with the cartoon originally. And you can kind of tell, you can maybe see where the transition happened. But originally it was Sharpie marker on paper, and then I would color it in Photoshop. So I would just scan the line art. So I had original art from that era. But now that I'm drawing all digitally, it's just all digital. I mean, I could do a printed version. Like I could print out just the line art and do like a hand-colored version or something if I wanted to actually make an object. But it just became a all digital production, which is, it's a little bit sad, because as far as archiving and stuff, you have to be really careful. The JPEG, what the final product, will always exist on servers and gets backed up. But as far as locally, like the Photoshop files that I'm making, I have to back those up in various places and make sure I, keep my versions of everything safe, or else, things can just disappear. So that's what I don't like about doing art only digitally is, there could be some mishap and you lose a hard drive and you lose a backup. I've had weird things happen with like using Dropbox or whatever. If a hard drive fails and Dropbox detects that the hard drive is no longer reachable and there's supposed to be files on there, it just deletes everything on the cloud. So it's kind of defeats the purpose of using a backup, or having things stored on the cloud when it's constantly checking the local version, and when it doesn't see it just deletes it. That's ridiculous. But so I've had some mishaps. I haven't lost anything, but you got to be careful, and there is no like perfect solution. So backing things up, on hard drive, and then on flash media, having something on solid state that's not going to fail. It may become unreadable, but it's not going to fail, like an actual spinning hard drive, a mechanical hard drive. Well, that's a frustrating part of digital art, even though it seems like paper would be more fragile, or it could be, damaged in a fire or ruined by water. Like, I still have paper from 20 years ago, like, paper art, and some digital art I don't have from 10 years ago because of crashes and things. It's Nick Gers. Now you guys are screwing with me. That's an old Sal and Richard name, isn't it? Happy birthday. That's evil. I've definitely heard that on Stern. Nick Gers. Nice. Yeah, this is a totally racist live stream. It's that guy's brother's fault. I can't believe I completely walked right into that. Yes. Yeah, so that's a shame. Speaking of Sal and Richard and Howard Stern, it's not even that show isn't even listenable anymore. It's not even good to listen to. It's just an old man complaining about his kitten rescuing wife. Yeah, but that's funny too. As soon as Howard went more mainstream, he started having huge guests. You know, the very A-list, and didn't like Hillary Clinton or somebody do Howard Stern? Very bizarre. But yeah, can't listen anymore. But I think nobody's listening to radio, even satellite radio, much anymore. I think it's all podcasts and streaming. Now I gotta watch you guys. I thought I could trust you. I thought this was a safe place. But your unfortunately named brothers are nice. Yeah, so I'm in Japan. That's why the time difference is so crazy. It's just my afternoon here, and your guys late, possibly very late night. But yeah, radio here is almost totally dead. Yeah, Japanese like free over-the-air radio is really terrible. But even the TV here is pretty terrible as well. The cable in Japan has that's the box with the standard cards in it that have like the SIM on them for your account, and they're very easy to rewrite. Like you can just get a reader for your PC and actually completely unlock every channel on Japanese cable. So it's insanely easy to pirate. You don't need to do anything fancy. You just need a card reader. But people don't even do it because Japanese cable is so bad. It's not even worth the effort to steal it. So I thought that was pretty funny that that's how you make something. So you keep something safe, is you make it so bad that nobody wants to steal it. All right. Hey. Yeah, no more N words on the live stream. Nice. All right, so my standard too many boxes warm up. Okay. We can put things on the same layer. Wow. Yeah, now I really need to I really need to get the chat above this monitor so I don't have to keep turning around. Yeah, the setup, so there's two monitors, but because the Cintiq is a monitor, tablet monitor, and yeah, I've got it the other monitor over to my right, so that's why I'm turning around all the time. All right. Yeah, if any of you guys are into tabletop gaming. I think you guys seem to be like a video game group, or I don't know what I saw from the channel, but yeah, I'm also on a podcast and YouTube video channel that we do tabletop gaming and so role playing and then board games as well. So Idle Red Hands is the gaming channel, and we just released the kind of discussion of Rise of Skywalker, and there'll soon be an unboxing for Dungeon Degenerates, the Goblin Co. kind of grim, nasty adventure board game. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the channel. It's kind of a bunch of Japanese expats that also do tabletop gaming, and also tabletop is getting pretty big in Japan as well. So there's a lot of crossover, a lot of game cafes and stuff here. But yeah, so there's a weekly episode where we just kind of do updates, and it's audio only, and then all the rest of the stuff on the channel is video. So unboxings and actual plays. Star Trek, we did the Star Trek Adventures. Was the last thing we played last Saturday. So that's on the Patreon for Idle Red Hands, but it'll be I'll do kind of a cleaned up version without all the bathroom breaks and profanity for YouTube coming up later. Nice. Oh yeah, no only a couple of cases of coronavirus in Japan. It's been mostly no deaths, just a few cases. I'm in the western side of Japan, so Osaka, Kyoto area, so a lot of Chinese tourists here, and I think Japan just recently started to slow down on letting Chinese tourists in, or starting to do screenings. They were kind of too slow about it. I think they're really addicted to Chinese tourist money right now, and they were really slow to slow down the people coming here. And also, Japan has great doctors and hospitals, so of course if you're sick, it would be a great place to get sick. So that's another unfortunate thing. So, but yeah, it's hard to tell how bad it is or how bad it will get. But they're talking about, last thing I heard is for a vaccine, it's going to be about 3 months. So we've got 3 months of whatever is going to happen with this. All right, let's see. Jack Black. I can't believe Jack Black's YouTube channel, how quickly that blew up. And it's cool, though, because he does all the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff for the tour that he did. And then Jumanji sequel and stuff. That's cool to see him actually doing stuff. And it looks like I don't know who's involved. Maybe his kid's involved. His kids are involved in the production. I can't tell who's actually, because they're on camera a lot. But it's funny. It's funny when anybody with a big name comes to YouTube, how quickly they take off the Jablinski gaming. And the whole running joke for the first few months was zero gaming on the gaming channel. All right. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I just do my cartoon characters. I had a job for Disney Adventures for a while. So I did a kids comic in Disney Adventures in like 2005, 2006, 2007. I did a gaming comic called Level Up in Disney Adventures. And I got that job because of this cartoon, because of domestic abuse. So the editor at Disney liked domestic abuse, and we met at the San Diego Comic-Con and started talking, and he asked if I'd be interested in developing an original series for Disney Adventures, and then Disney Adventures disappeared. It went away because they lost all their advertising, because most of their advertising was, McDonald's and Coca-Cola and, candy and snacks and stuff. And then parents groups in the U.S. started to protest, the amount of advertising of junk food to kids. And so all the advertisers pulled out, and so the magazine lost its budget. And Disney Publishing still exists, but they're mostly just doing comic versions of their properties now. There's no original stuff. But that was pretty cool, though. Disney Adventures had some cool original cartoons in it, and it was all because the editors liked indie comics and cartooning, so they looked for original stuff. But that was a cool gig. That was Disney Publishing was fun to work for. I can't speak to animation or anything, but their publishing editors were really good and had good creative input, and also helped you kind of stay on the good side of the advertisers, because the publishing is all advertiser based. So they were really good at letting you know what might piss off an advertiser, which was new to me. I hadn't done anything dealing with the advertising world. I'd done print before, but I hadn't done magazine work with advertisers that might be offended by certain words or whatever. So that was new, but they were really good about that. It never felt like they're trying to ruin your work or anything. So that still exists somewhere, but I still own those characters. That was the cool thing, is it was Disney. I think about Disney now, but it was Disney in the early 2000s, and they let you create an original series, they published it, and then they let you keep the rights to it. I don't think they're doing that with anything anymore. I think they've totally changed their policies. Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah. I'll do the same thing. Yeah, is chat up on the... yeah, that's good. Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely do the convenience store segment, because there was a Japanese... I guess it's for you. It's still a Japanese holiday, but February 3rd is it's the first day of spring in Asia, the end of the Lunar New Year. So Chinese New Year is ending, and it's the Lunar New Year. So it's Setsubun in Japan. So that's kind of like Halloween a little bit. Yeah. I'll talk about that when I show you what I got at the convenience store. All right. Yeah, they're not ice cubes yet. I'm just drawing boxes and trying to come up with just trying to get warmed up, because I got to get my touch kind of going. So I usually am just warming up with boxes. But yeah, I gotta come up with something to draw. I haven't had this big an audience before, and I'm not a very good performance artist, so this may get difficult. I've got my undo key ready, my undo key combo ready. But yeah, I'll try to come up with something. But yeah, I'll do the comments from the comments on Go Comics from last week, as usual. And hey, Safaro, good to see you again. That was fun. Yeah, talking art and movies last time. But yeah, so usually I just doodle some different objects until a couple of things kind of make a joke, kind of suggest a joke or something kind of pops into my head. So it's a slow process, and a little bit different from how I did it when I would just draw ink on paper. Usually I'd write a joke, or write many jokes and then illustrate one of the jokes, or I would draw a cartoon and then write the joke for the cartoon. And those, you could kind of tell which way around I did it. So this is a little bit different way. It's more organic, like the things come up at the same time, the idea. So the joke and the image come up at the same time. So it feels like they're a little bit more balanced in strength, because some of the older stuff you can see, oh, the joke is better written, or it's a stronger idea and the image isn't so strong. And then vice versa, where the joke is kind of weak, but the image is funny or interesting. So, yeah, this is just how I'm doing it now. I don't know if it's the best way, but it works. And I just decided a couple of years ago just to do it as a live stream, because I spent all this time working on it, and it was mostly inspired by, I don't know if any of you guys have read or used to read, I think it's still around, but Penny Arcade, the gaming web comic. They used to do a podcast where they would just do their kind of thinking out loud. They would read, the headlines on the gaming websites and just kind of brainstorm together and come up with what they were going to do for the week. And I always thought that was fun to hear that creative process. And it was 2 people, so it's a little more interesting. But it's just me, so it's a little less. I'm talking to myself and pushing it a little harder. But now I have you to talk to. Oh, cool. Sweet. Well, it's good. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that works. Yeah, it always. So early on, when I was doing the stream, I was kind of doing all like creative advice. So if you listen to the earlier streams, I'm kind of focused on people trying to have creative careers, and kind of what worked for me, and how you can approach things. And as I kept doing it, I realized, wow, things have changed a lot. I mean, people really, the daily Instagram artists, like the artists that do cartoon of the day on Instagram, were really getting popular, and that's how a lot of people developed a following. I worked with Pascal Campion, who is a French artist that lives in, I think, Los Angeles now. He moved down to Los Angeles, but he does a lot of pre-visualization for movies. I think he worked for Sony, and he's directing some Netflix stuff. I think he's doing like a Dr. Seuss series or something for Netflix. But he's one of those artists that really perfected that drawing of the day. So what he would do, like the same way that I'm warming up here, he would just do a drawing as a warm-up in the morning, like when he went into the studio, and then just release that on Instagram. And they're gorgeous drawings. He actually uses Flash. He draws in Flash, then takes that vector work into Photoshop, and then does all the lighting effects and anything. And I think there's variations of that style, but there's some video of him actually doing that. And I think he uses Flash because he likes the perspective tools. There's a lot of planning and perspective tools in Flash, and so he'll bring that kind of sketchy digital painting in Flash then into Photoshop, and then do texturing and lighting and stuff. And sometimes he gets, because he's a previous artist, like basically he's giving the color, lighting, and kind of atmosphere for 3D artists to kind of create with. And so it's not quite storyboards, it's previs. So it's like, this is what the parking lot is going to look like, and it's at night and the light is hitting the car like this. And so he gives kind of mood, atmosphere, and kind of color palette for 3D animation, and some 2D as well. And so his daily cartoons are really a lot of family-based stuff, a little sweet sometimes, but you can't argue with like the kind of emotional effect you can just get from you're simulating lighting in Photoshop. It's just, so that's just all gradients and colors. But really, he's really mastered that. So he was one of the first people to really develop a following. I mean, he gets like 150,000 likes or whatever on there. I guess 150,000 followers on Instagram, and like thousands of likes every time he releases like a daily cartoon. So it's good stuff. But but then now there's so many people doing that, and he some people interned with him as well to do some production work. So there's a lot of Pascal kind of knockoff artists, people that are using his same style because they worked with him or just were inspired by his work. But I'm not going to draw a wine bottle. I don't know. But, and the other thing that's come up with the cartoon is it used to be, very familiar things and things around my home because I was mostly working from home. Now I'm at an office like in downtown Osaka, and I'm surrounded by very foreign-looking things. So a lot of my what was familiar in my work became very foreign. Became just Japanese things are now familiar. Japanese bottle shapes and things are now familiar, and actually starting to get like a little nostalgia and comfort about them because so many of the brands and things are so old in Japan. They have really old, strange packaging, and the way that they kind of evolved their bottle shapes and stuff is very interesting and odd. So there's a lot of that where I'm reproducing very foreign looking stuff. I still have a lot of nostalgia for old American kind of tableware and packaging and things, but the Japanese is creeping in. Advice for selling paintings and drawings. I think it's a little pricey. I think you have to pay. There's like a monthly fee for it, but I know people sell art on Etsy, and there might be more specialized, specific places. But I would hit up local galleries as well. If you're based in a city, in a big city, or near a big city, or going to school somewhere, definitely hit up local galleries and show them your stuff. Like I was going to say slides. What are slides? It used to be you put together slides of your work and you gave them to the gallery to look at. But now, just like send them a link and some just digital photographs of your art. And if somebody responds to it, a gallery responds to it, and they think they can sell it, you can probably even get a show together. And if you want to kind of start to develop a following, try to get involved in group shows. And especially, like I know in Los Angeles and San Francisco, they do this a lot. They'll have group shows and they'll have a theme, like some retro video game theme or something. And so it's more for people that do kind of pop art and maybe more illustrative type stuff. So if you have a very strong style, the group shows may not work as well. But definitely see what's happening at local galleries around you, because you might be surprised how your stuff fits in. But as far as like selling it, it's probably online is still so powerful. And if you can find, like in Japan, they have a few specifically for like artisan work, like leather work and ceramics and things, and then also paintings and visual work. They have specific websites and markets for that, and so it's easy to search through those to find what you want. And people are always looking for ways to decorate and original things, original objects in Japan. The funny thing about Japan, though, is they've got very kind of strict rules about like art on the walls and not a lot of wall space. Like, houses are pretty small, and usually they're using a lot of the walls for shelving or storage or whatever. So they have very few places for wall space. So it's funny that if the people are buying anything, it's pretty small here, like everything. But if you're based in the U.S., definitely definitely do that. And Instagram. I've got an Instagram. I think my Instagram is just at Jeremy Lambros. So I think my name, spelling of my name is in the, so just my name under the little domestic abuse thing. Wait, where am I pointing? Over here. Up in the upper right-hand corner there. Yeah, just Jeremy Lambros on Instagram. Is that, there's no Abuse Cartoons Instagram. There's Abuse Cartoons Twitter. And I did the the last thing I didn't finish Inktober, but I did Inktober, so my Instagram is mostly just the remnants of Inktober from last year and some Citizen Spaceman. And I did a comic show in Okinawa this year for the first time on the Army base, on Camp Foster, the Army base. That was an experience. I had no idea, and it's like another country. Like, it's still Japan, but it's like another country. So kind of like the same relationship, Hawaii to the mainland, mainland, the lower 48, the rest of the United States. It's so different, kind of climate-wise and geographical, and people don't even think they're in Japan. Any of the military that's stationed in Okinawa, they know they're in a foreign country, but it's like, it's not Japan. It's another place, and it's just, especially if you're driving down, 58? The main highway is 58 down Okinawa. It's just military base, sugarcane field, military base, sugarcane. It's crazy. It's a totally different feeling from the rest of Japan. But and that was the security. Whoa, yeah. I'd been on an Air Force base before, but this was the first time the kind of heavy security. And it was funny to see it was a Comic-Con. It's not a huge Comic-Con, but it's in kind of their little sport arena place. It was the first time to see a Comic-Con where there's a bunch of cosplay people with like plastic guns, prop weapons, and then there's military MPs walking around with their their sidearms. And I talked about this back at the time when I went, but the funniest thing is cosplay girls like doing some anime character, with an actual, modern looking firearm, and a girl just kind of waving it around, and all the trained military just like ducking and being so nervous, having a gun, even a plastic gun, pointed at them like they're very, that's breaking the rules pretty badly. And it was funny to see those big guys flinch because they are trained not to do that, not to point, not to point. I think she was showing someone where the toilet was, and she was pointing with her pistol, and the whole row of people were kind of ducking. Because even the toy firearms and stuff in Japan look very realistic. Like if you've seen any of the airsoft guns or anything, they're very realistic replicas. And in Japan, they don't have to have the orange tips because there's no gun ownership other than airsoft air guns. So that was the most entertaining thing about that show. But but it's hard. It's hard to get down there, and the airport. It wasn't the easiest show to actually do, because I ended up it's very limited. You can take a taxi, a special like pre-screened taxi onto the base, but it's very limited getting a taxi to come on to pick you up. So I actually had to walk to the exit to the guard post to get a cab, and that was ridiculous with all the stuff with all the stuff for my booth. But let's see here. Oh, this is some previous stuff. Oh yeah, so I don't come up. Sometimes I'll have an idea. I think sometimes when the stream is really short, I've like come with an idea that I just want to draw because I had a joke in my head or something. But most of the time, it just is an organic thing, and I'll just keep drawing until I kind of come up with a composition or some things that look, that just look funny together. Then just have a weird combination of things. Something that I am. Think will be funny, and then a lot of the jokes come from just a strange phrase or something when I'm drawing things, just a phrase. And even maybe that helps. That's why I talk through the whole thing, because sometimes I'll say something, or it'll pop into my head because I'm talking. I'll say something that triggers a funny combination, because a lot of the writing, because it's such a limited, the joke is it's just like a sentence, such a limited phrase. I want the word choice to be funny, like the word choice to be good. And so if there's a phrase that kind of makes me laugh or is a funny way to say something, I'll base the joke or the writing around that. But yeah, so this is me, and more recently I've just been doing all this creation and warming up, and if I find a couple of things, I'll move them on to, because I do 2 cartoons a week, so I'll move them on to the other cartoon and then kind of continue keep coming up with stuff. But yeah, that's a big that was a thing that I noticed at Comic-Cons too, is a lot of people want to watch artists draw, because some people do such amazing stuff. It's so nice to watch their touch and their sense of color and how things come together. And I never was a good kind of performer. I don't know, just be too nervous. So I don't know why I'm doing a live stream, but it was a good performer at doing that kind of can't give enough. It's not, I guess, I don't know. It's just not that interesting. And this is a very simple cartoon, so it's also not super interesting. But that was the thing at Comic-Con that I really noticed, is a lot of people just want to, just watch people draw. And they did it's a kind of foreign manga. They call it Kaigai manga, so foreigner manga show in Tokyo. So they invited some really great American comic book artists. Will Sportatio was there. And they have a bunch of people that are working professionally in comics, like doing Star Wars comics, or a lot of the people that it's IDW or whoever has the Transformers license. So a lot of the people that do those covers or interior art for those, and had them come up on stage with just drawing boards, and then did 4 cameras and did a split 4 camera. So the big screen, like over the entire hall, you could just watch those 4 artists, work for like an hour on an illustration, and then I think they auctioned the illustrations off. But but that was really cool. That was a neat idea. But I'm not that kind of, I don't work amazingly well that way. I just get kind of stuck. So that's very different, very funny. But I think some people are very, they like the performance of it. They like the attention, the performance of it. Because, probably if you started that way, like in high school art class or whatever, and like people sitting near you were enjoying watching you draw, then that became, kind of what you did, and it's more performance. Yeah, because any drawing is interesting because it's not your head, it's not, your brain. So whatever people, however they draw or come up with is not what you would do. So it is always a little bit unexpected, or it has a little bit of that surprise element to it. But, what is this? All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And definitely tattoos, too, because that's there's something like kind of ritual about that. Like, the experience that the person is going through, and how a drawing comes together visually. Or how the art comes together visually on a person. And also because tattoos like kind of in stages, like I don't know a lot about it, but you do line work or whatever and start and it builds up. So that also has a nice interest to it. Yeah, that's, I think in Japan, that's funny because like tattooing is not, it's changing. It's becoming more accepted in Japan. But I think I've met more tattoo artists in Japan than I've actually met like other kinds of artists, or even like, working commercial artists, as far as like foreigners here. A lot of foreign tattoo artists. And I think because of the tradition of Japanese tattooing, they're very curious about it, but it's still kind of a underground thing. Like it's, still you can't openly show tattoos in public baths and stuff, or swimming pools. There's still requests to cover things up because of the association with the Yakuza and criminal element. There's still like a stigma for tattooing, although I think it's changing. And I think because so many foreigners come here with body art, and, it's shocking for them to, have a strange reaction to it, the Japanese reaction. So, yeah, I think a lot of the younger generation is moving away from the association with, criminals and tattoos. So it's becoming a more open thing. But still, I think it's illegal. I think if you do tattooing on the mainland, because there's so many tattoo shops in Okinawa. It was all like used furniture and tattoo shops. So I think it's more acceptable. And all the military were all tatted up. Like a lot of guys had full sleeves and stuff in Okinawa, and a lot of their like Japanese wives did too. But on the mainland, I think doing it, you can. I don't know what's legal and what's not legal in Japan is very mysterious, because I think most things are illegal, but I don't know if you're actually going to get arrested for them or not. But I think there's no such thing as a legal tattoo parlor on the mainland. I may be wrong about that, but I think it's not. You can't openly have a business to do tattooing. It's more of an underground thing, so it happens in people's homes or kind of secret studios that aren't publicly known about. Yeah, no, I really think that's true. I think, body modification and tattooing is like, becoming self-expression and, kind of part of like, people kind of documenting their lives, on their bodies, and also, part of fashion and things as well. But Japan is slow. I mean, I think there is still a generation alive that is very afraid of what tattoos mean. And because if you've ever seen how the Yakuza tattoos are completely concealed under a dress shirt. So they'll come down to the cuff, and then they end, in that way where they'll be under the collar line and then here, so you could actually open your shirt a little bit and not see that you were fully tattooed, but underneath the shirt you're completely tattooed. And also they have in Japan, the traditional technique is the hand, I don't know if they're like tapping a needle. Basically, it's not a machine. Yeah, they usually use which I guess is deep and painful, or more painful. I guess depending on the technique, depending on the artist. But yeah, so I think people come here with curiosity about that tradition, and then find out it's kind of an underground. But I mean, you can still find it. You can still find tattoo masters, but you're gonna be, a little bit more on the the darker side of the street in Japan, where you wouldn't be. It's much more mainstream in other countries. Yeah. Oh, it's hard. Motivation is hard. Yeah, I don't get so burnout. Yeah, to answer your question, I don't get burnout. I don't feel like I draw enough. I mean, I think basically this cartoon is most of my drawing, unless I have an illustration specific, like paid illustration gig, or drawing for like a project, like I'm working on a comic or personal comic or something. I don't feel like I draw enough. And this is looking a mess. Sorry, let me clear some of this off. Nothing is working here. But no, I think I still feel like I'm not drawing enough. Like I want to, be doing more. Because I gotta fix this. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you have to really get addicted to, like really enjoy the output and improving, because there's so much to drawing that's just like a physical. It's a physical craft, so the muscles, like if you don't draw for a while, it takes longer to kind of get your touch back or get your style, things looking like you drew them. And but yeah, and I think I think the other thing that is, I don't draw with pencils and pens and brushes as much as I used to. So that I feel like I'm really, really losing that touch. Too much digital work, and a lot of the professional work I do in Illustrator. So yeah, it's a lot of that is just manipulating splines and points and curves. It's not, there's no touch to it. It's just more, it's like just visual design. So I've done a lot of characters for companies. So everything has to have a little character, a cute little character in Japan, a lot of mascot stuff. And so restaurants and shops like tea shops and crepe shops, I'm trying to think of some of the stuff I've done, but they want a character to kind of go with what they do. And some people don't want the traditional, they want to look a little foreign or a little more exotic. So they, I've gotten some work doing illustrations for like Italian restaurants. The last thing I did was the Taiwan Tea Company. Some characters for that. So just, to have on their menu or their signs or their, business cards or whatever, there's work to be done. So that's most of the work that I've done in Japan. But I think, as I've complained on a lot of mainstream or a lot of live streams, the rate in Japan for illustration work, and it's terrible. So because I think a lot of companies don't see it as work, it's just fun. So why should we pay you to have fun? So the rate is really low. So people that work as professional illustrators really, really work hard here, because per piece, per job, they don't make much at all. So that's a shame. But it's just a culture difference. It's a cultural value difference. Oh, yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine that, especially your hand, like the vibration of the needle all day, that has to be a very different sensation, because you have to have a certain touch, because you're I don't know if you're controlling the depth or if the tool controls the depth, but you're having something vibrating in your hand all day. Definitely has to be tough. Yeah, and you just have to, it's too easy to make excuses, like not doing any creative work. It's really easy to make excuses for why you're not doing it. Oh, I should do this instead, or I got to do this, or oh, I want to get this set up before I, start drawing more or doing this. But you just have to, lose sleep and, alienate friendships and ruin relationships to actually get that time that you need. So you have to just give it, big importance in your life. You have to give it as much importance as you think it needs, and then you'll get the time. And it's difficult, like balancing it if you're going to school or working full time. It's hard, and the hard thing is, especially if you're doing a creative job, a day job, but you have your personal work that you want to do. It's really hard if you've been drawing all day professionally to then do it for yourself. So it's probably better to have a job that you hate, that's just sitting at a computer all day, and then you can't wait to get home and start drawing. So that's one of those things, and it's just, I think it's very individual, but there's that really motivates. Because I think, when I first came to Japan and I kind of lost all my connection to the freelance work that I was doing for Los Angeles companies, and I just did a little teaching here, I don't think I drew as much. I drew more than I'd ever drawn in my life, including art school, when I was teaching. Because every moment that I was sitting in that teacher's office at a desk, it was just miserable. And so any planning I did, I'd finish that and then I would just draw. So I just draw hundreds of, characters and things a day just in my free time, because I wanted to be doing that so much more than teaching. And it was a big motivator. And any excuse to do some drawing or illustration for the school. So all of the, stuff I did was always heavily illustrated, and did a bunch of design and stuff, because that's what I actually wanted to be doing. And so you'll just you'll feel that, and you'll figure that out. And sometimes having that opposite thing, having that thing that you hate, and having kind of an enemy. If your day job is kind of your enemy, you need to do it to pay your rent, but you hate that exists, then you put so much more passion and energy into your work, into your creative work. Sometimes that works well for people, but it's very much based on the individual, because sometimes it's just it's too hard, or it's real demoralizing. Like having a bad day job takes too much out of you emotionally, so you've got nothing left, when you get home. Let's see here. I don't know. Yeah. Very good point. Yeah, making excuses, procrastinating. Yeah, that's really hard. Yeah, that was a really big thing that I had to learn, like doing freelance. And even I think I suffered from that in school as well, putting something off, until the last minute when the adrenaline of, oh my God, it's due tomorrow hits you. And then that's the energy you use to get something done. That's really bad. But I was stuck in that for a little while. Definitely. But yeah, it's difficult because I've really felt creative work is very different. And unlike training for a marathon or, doing something where you have a specific amount of work that you can kind of quantify, like how long that's going to take you. It's so amazing, like once you're really in sync with something, once things really start flowing and you kind of move into that space where you're not even like really conscious of how you're doing things and where it's coming from, but it just keeps coming out. When you get into that mode, like, in the zone or whatever you think of that kind of creative work, things go so fast and so easily, but being able to kind of trick yourself into that or kind of force yourself to be able to output in that sort of way is that's the hardest thing to learn. I don't know what you could compare that to, but that's the hardest thing to learn is kind of how you do. And so that's what this kind of thing, me drawing a bunch of different objects is eventually I'm going to get into like, oh, okay, that's what I want to do, or that's what I'm thinking about. But just have to come up with ways to trick yourself to get into that creative mode, and then it's easy. But if you have to produce something and it's a freelance job and you have a deadline, but you're getting paid for it, and you force things out, it's amazing how long it takes and how painful it is to actually get something drawn or get something finished when there's just no creative energy in it and you're just kind of going through the motions. That's really a difficult skill, and I think it's one of the important skills that a lot of very prolific high production artists like Pascal Campion, he definitely is able to put himself into that mode so easily, and because his work is just it's very emotional and dramatic, and it's got to be hard to perform that reliably and daily. Oh my God, do that every day. But so I have no idea where I was going with that, but it's hard. That's an important part of the creative process, is being able to get to the point where you enjoy it and it's easy, because that's the most wonderful thing about it, when you surprise yourself and it's all it just so it's coming out all right. So I still don't know what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, weed is synthetic. There was some synthetic craze like about almost 10 years ago, but that got shut down. But it's weed. It's like the 50s in the U.S. as far as weed. There's no chance of legalization. I know, I don't want to stereotype, but I know Koreans can get it in, or there's like sources. If you've got a source, it's probably Korean. If you've got a dealer in Japan, it's probably Korean. But the penalties are really high for possession, and it's probably nothing. And they were even threatening international students when Canada legalized weed nationally. They said, you can be drug tested when you come back to Korea or come back to Japan, because they both have strict drug laws, and we will punish you for using it in another country. That's insane. But I think with the amount of international students that they have in Asia, they're kind of worried about that. And I think it's just kind of a necessity for Korea and Japan to have, I think Japan even more so than Korea, to have very strict drug laws, because they're just surrounded by all the opium and, anything that you'd want. So if their drug laws became lapsed, they would have to just legalize everything. Oh, sorry. And then as far as the competitiveness and everything that they're constantly worried about, I think there would be a big change in Japanese culture that they just aren't prepared to deal with. But a lot of people that I meet that are visiting Japan, they ask, so do you have a dealer? And I'm like, no, no, not in Japan. Yeah, so it's very different. Yeah, for a while too, mushrooms were totally legal. Like you could just buy, hallucinogenic mushrooms just about anywhere in the, little shops, and then they cracked down on that too. So yeah, Japan and their laws are very strange. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I know there were a lot of my friends from art school, like that would really be like how they would get into the vibe, or how they'd get over like being nervous, like socially nervous, and having to go to a creative job, like working at a game studio or something. They would just wake and bake and be totally mild, and all day be in the mood to just kind of create. And so I think that definitely does work. And yeah, it's weird that that's just not even an option in Japan, where most of the rest of the world is starting to legalize, and it's just it's that. Yeah, it's just a different political situation in Japan, because I think the over criminalization of marijuana in the U.S. came from how they wanted to use it to just arrest anybody. They politically thought they wanted to control and limit political speech and stuff, and it's not this. It never happened that same way in Japan. I think they're just so worried about how fast. Pretty dangerous stuff could get. I mean, because the big fentanyl problem, in the U.S., it's all coming from China. So if Japan loosened anything, I mean, we would just have fentanyl deaths like crazy. Is that what I'm thinking of? The thing that they cut heroin with, yeah. But fentanyl, yeah, is all that. There's so much illegal stuff produced in China that they could very easily start getting into Japan if there were laxed, or if there wasn't huge penalties for it. So I think that's their biggest concern. But maybe someday, yeah, if there's a shift. It's just it's such a different political climate. Well, that's cool. Yeah. I remember in Chicago, I went to undergrad in Chicago and hung out at this apartment where they were growing, where they grew, like a big table set up in the room that was like lit all the time. And I remember that weed smelled like popcorn for some reason so much. That was like the first thing that I always thought of when I when I hung out at that apartment. It's like, well, that smells like popcorn. Like it had that buttered popcorn smell. I don't know why, but yeah. I can't believe that's a thing now. You can grow. You can get probably need a license or whatever. But yeah, you can grow your own, like legally. You can be a grower. That's crazy. Yeah, compared to how strict things used to be. Nice. Yeah, I'm too old to experiment with drugs in any way. Again, student life is a different thing, but yeah. And now I don't have any big motivation, so it's okay in Japan that I can't get anything. But yeah. So I haven't done anything in quite a while, and towards the end of the time I was in Los Angeles, even the weed got so strong I couldn't even deal with it. Yeah, the chronic and everything that everybody was smoking, it was like, yeah, that was insane. I had some really bad experiences in Las Vegas, getting way too high. And Las Vegas doesn't like. I mean, it's I'm sure it's changed, but I remember back in the day, Las Vegas doesn't like marijuana because they want you just to drink. They want to just sell you alcohol or give you free drinks and get you gambling. I don't think marijuana and slot machines or whatever go together as well as they like. So I remember that, drug laws were a little stricter. But yeah, stuff got really strong. I don't know. I still got things on. I'm not making enough layers. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Jane Doe. Yeah, crazy strong. But you build up a tolerance, right? So, like, what's strong for me, who hasn't smoked in quite a few years, would, probably be a daily, something easy to handle. But I couldn't handle the, it was almost like doing acid. It was so strong. And I got so confused. Okay, quick story. So we're supposed to be going out with friends, and it was cold. It gets cold in the desert. So Las Vegas, they have the big banks of elevators, like 8 elevators when you're going up to your hotel room. And I think we smoked out of just a crushed soda can. So somebody had weed and nobody had a pipe. So we smoked out of a crushed soda can. And I got way too high, passed it around way too many times. I got way too high. Everybody left. Like, I got to go get my jacket. It's way too cold. And I couldn't get onto the elevator. I was standing in that little area, like the lobby area where the elevator, and I pushed the button, and I would hear the chime for the elevator has arrived. And by the time I figured out where it was, the door was closing again. So I must have been in this like time delay where I just like, okay, wait, I heard the chime. It's got to be, okay. So I looked around, I looked for the open doors and the light. And as soon as I found it, it would be closing again. So I had this like crazy delay, and it took me, I have no idea. I've like lost all sense of time, but there must have been like security camera footage of some guy standing in the middle of 8 elevators and repeatedly pushing a button and just standing there until the elevator left, because I couldn't find my way back on. But that was crazy. So eventually I got up to the room, and I texted my friends and just said, I think I'm a little too fucked up, and I just stayed in the room and came down because that was crazy. Yeah, I was in some kind of hole. But so that's when I realized I was getting a little too strong, or I was getting a little too old. Yes, exactly. It was a weird time thing. Oh man. Nice. Yeah, well, thanks for checking out the stream. So this is just kind of a weekly thing, because I draw this cartoon 2 cartoons a week. So I just do a live stream. Usually the old ones are about an hour, but now that there's people to talk to and kind of a back and forth, it's probably going to be a little bit longer on stream, which is probably good, because my Twitch, it's not getting anywhere, because I don't stream long enough. I think game streamers and everything, it's like minimum 4 hours or whatever. So there's a lot more time that I could spend. But yeah, an hour works pretty well. Yeah, what am I doing here? Nothing is coming together. Let's see. Wow. All right. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to repeat myself. I always feel like I draw the same cartoon over and over again sometimes, because the idea feels familiar. When it's familiar, it kind of feels good. It feels like, oh, okay, I've got the style, or the sensibility is the same. but sometimes I worry it feels like the same thing over and over again. I think, except for like a Starbucks cup, I think I've drawn a cartoon that's just a Starbucks cup a couple of times. But yeah, it just feels like it's the same thing over and over again. But I guess that'll happen after I think I'm almost at 2,000 of these cartoons. So after your second 1,000, I guess you're allowed to repeat. Or maybe that's a good thing about living in different places is got different influences, so you're not gonna repeat too much. Yeah. What is a recognizable vegetable? Yeah. Trying to think. That's not gonna work. Oh yeah, maybe just this would be enough. Yeah. Something like this. Oh, but then we're going to get into the, is it a fruit or a vegetable if I'm drawing a tomato? Let's see. What else? Yeah, I've had way too much coffee today. I had a lot of stuff in the morning, so too much caffeine. All right. Yeah. I've got to I've got to get to that point where I'm actually putting stuff together. Yeah. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a drought. Things aren't moving very fast. And that's the other thing too. If you get, especially with trying to be funny, if I'm trying to come up with an idea that it's actually funny, you get really self-conscious of it, and then you're just dead creatively if you're trying to come up with something humorous and you just you think too much about it. But usually if I can entertain myself, it's safe that I'm on the right track. I don't know why I'm drawing these like weird little sofas. Let's see. I watched Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems? Yeah, the Adam Sandler movie. It finally came onto Japanese Netflix. That was really good. I think I liked that as much as Punch Drunk Love. That's definitely my favorite Adam Sandler. And it had that same kind of nervousness, like things building on top of other things, and a lot of dialogue that was just people talking over each other. So it does, like what they were saying was probably a lot of improvisation, because they're just talking over each other and just creating a bunch of noise and just kind of gets you unnerved. But that was a good character and very very tense. Like they did a good job of building tension, and I don't want to spoil anything. It's got a crazy end, but it had great and you just the character couldn't get out of his own way. Just kept fucking himself, over and over again, and that was good. The performances, were just really good. And in the casting, didn't recognize, except for the people that played themselves, like the famous people, like The Weeknd and Kevin Garnett, like people that played themselves. I didn't recognize a lot of the other actors, and so people were cast really. And Judd Hirsch. Yeah, Judd Hirsch was playing the old Jewish uncle or whatever. But otherwise, I didn't recognize a lot of the actors. So that was good stuff. Good casting and real good tension. Just he owed everybody something. Yeah, and people coming to him to get paid was that really built up really crazy, but nothing like over the top. Like it wasn't like, Scorsese style violence or anything. So it was it was good. Just a lot of people or a lot of characters that you couldn't tell how dangerous they were. I think that was like kind of the best part of it, is you weren't quite sure how afraid to be of a lot of the people that he was interacting with, because he wasn't afraid of them or didn't act afraid. And so that made it very tense. But yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I think if I can come up, maybe a cucumber. I gotta think of something that's actually like involved. There's not a lot of vegetables involved in fast food. Lettuce. I've definitely drawn lettuce before. All right. Okay. Maybe a packet of ketchup. All right. All right. I think that scale is right. All right, what's another? I guess lettuce. So maybe these are going to, and the tomato are going to be the basis. Yeah. So I'll move these over. Gotta save them for later. All right, and lettuce. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that'll work. I think the coloring is going to be the thing that makes this read as lettuce. All right. Yeah, I think that'll work. Something like that. All right. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Yeah, music. Yeah, that's the thing. I keep thinking about that. If I can just play, because sometimes I'll put something on headphones when I'm listening, but I'm streaming to both Twitch and YouTube, and I think YouTube will just kill my stream if I'm playing unlicensed music, or nothing that I had, nothing like royalty free or anything. So yeah, I just wonder if I could just play whatever. That would be good, and that would help me stay motivated too. But yeah, good idea. Thanks for the suggestion about the retention. Nice. Wow, excellent. So hello, everyone, if you're just joining. Good to see you. Yeah, it's nice to have people on the stream. Yeah, this should be... Sorry, I'm not paying attention if it's coming from Twitch or... Oh, hey, Idle Red Hands, yeah. Yeah, hey, who is... Idle Red Hands, yes, that is the game podcast that I work on with some of the other guys in Japan. Nice. Yeah, so I stream. So we do some live streams of actual plays, and sometimes when we're recording reviews and stuff, we'll just do a live stream. But yeah, am I not seeing? Oh, sorry if I'm like missing. No, I think Yeah. So I'm sorry. I got that Restream chat on. It's supposed to be catching everything that everybody's saying from both YouTube and Twitch. So I apologize if I don't see you that way. Excellent. But yeah, very cool. So yeah, thanks for joining me. This is a weekly live stream of my drawing my cartoon, and it's usually more organized than this. I'm a little bit off tonight, but I appreciate the viewership. Nice. Yeah, Idle Red Hands. Yeah, so who is that? Manysaur. Yes. So yeah, if you've seen me before online, you've seen Idle Red Hands, or if I've actually accidentally put a weird title in on my YouTube or whatever, there may be some reference. But yeah, so there's a weekly Idle Red Hands that's just the audio podcast, but that goes up on the podcast as well as YouTube, and then we release various other stuff. And the last thing, as I mentioned, the last thing that we did was the Modifius 2D20 Star Trek Adventures, which was fun. It was the starter set, so it was like kind of the beginning adventure. And we're not beginner players, so I think the players were a little bit, they wanted to do more. And the way that they structure the adventure is that they kind of slowly introduce concepts and kind of ramp you up to things. And the funny thing, compared to other RPGs, the thing that's funny about it is they discourage physical conflict. Like they discourage, shooting someone or attacking someone. So anything lethal, you kind of pay a penalty for. And so the priority is, just like in Star Trek itself, not so much the movies, but I guess more the TV shows, is and more so Next Generation, is social conflict, so social interaction, negotiation. And they have good mechanics for that, and that's not introduced in the starter adventure, which is a little odd. But I guess if you're coming from Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, it does take some time to not shoot first and just try to wipe everybody out. You can't murder hobo it through Star Trek. They try to limit the system, limits it, because what you do is you end up feeding the game master threat tokens, which is the currency that they can then introduce additional enemies, complications. They can escalate everything. So the more you shoot, the more you attack, the more powerful what's going to be coming after you. So it's a pretty cool system in that way. Nice. Excellent. Pills. Amy, why do you want pills? Why should I be drawing pills? I've drawn a lot of pills. Draw math. Nice. Well, these are very helpful suggestions. Thank you. I can't get my. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Streamlabs. Yeah. Actually, let me see. I think I do have. Let me double check real quick. I think streamlabs.com/abusecartoons. Let me log in. I haven't done that. Yeah, I need to put that on the stream. Yeah, I used to have. Let's see. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. If you go donate to. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, if you go to, let's see. Let's try to. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm not set up at all. Usually I'm talking to myself and just archiving all this stuff, because it's basically, this whole stream started because weekly I wanted to get on a schedule to create. So there's the link if you want to contribute. Much appreciated. Yeah, Streamlabs is all set. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, so so let me see. I should probably, so I guess in Twitch is probably where I should do. I'm not sure if there's well, thank you for the voice stuff. Yeah, that I'm very self-conscious when I do the work for the gaming podcast. Yeah, self-conscious about. I think I have the worst voice of anybody on that podcast. So thank you for that. I need the reassurance. Yeah. So if you're coming from, actually YouTube, huh? Yeah, I haven't set up a mod in YouTube before. That's probably a good idea. Sweet. Okay, so let me, let's see here. Sorry, give me a second to get in here. All right. So, yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the subscriptions. Yeah. Cryptic, 3GS Freak, Tin Man, LOLJJ, Snooker Ghost. Thank you for the subs. Much appreciated. So, let me get into the stream. Oh, there. Yeah, sorry, I haven't set up a mod before. Sorry, why am I doing this live on stream? Sorry, anybody that was actually looking for something to be happening besides me struggling with YouTube. All right, so let's see here. Cool. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, Brandon said, got you. Not gotcha. Yeah. So I guess I should know my mods, right? But yeah, anybody. So to set up a mod, is that through the subscribers? Yeah, just let me know if you nice. All right. But yeah. Oh man. All right. Let me see. All right, so let me keep. Yeah, so I guess hit me up. Oh, wait, okay. Sorry for the. There we go. There we go. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Streamlabs should be set up. I had the Let me see. Once upon a time. Oh yeah, the tip jar. Turn that back on. Boom, boom. Yeah, that's hooked up through Streamlabs. So just Abuse Cartoons. Streamlabs.com/abusecartoons. All right. So let's see. Let's get something else. Oh yeah, if anybody has advice about how to put music on the stream, if I'm going both to YouTube and Twitch, I don't know if I can just play whatever I want because I think I'll get muted on YouTube. I'm not sure how flexible they are. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So let me keep going here. Nice. Oh, okay, cool. Right, right. That's cool. Yeah, I'll take a look for something to put in the on the live stream. That's a really good idea to not just have it be me talking and then a lot of the times me not talking and just clicking or talking about exactly what I'm doing on Photoshop. All right. Let's see. Okay. So. Yeah, I think everything. Oh yeah, I haven't tried. Yeah, I don't think I've got the channel. Yeah, it was still small. I don't think I have. There's no super chat. Yeah, get out of here. I don't think there's super chat or anything yet. On. Yeah, I need to be at 1,000 subscribers, so not there yet. So no, yeah, no super chat. So only Streamlabs is set up. All right. Yeah. Now that the stream is busy, I'm gonna have to get things reorganized. I finally got the double chat off. Last week I had 2 copies of the chat on the stream. That looks nice. Cool. All right. Okay. Nice. Damn, 4:30 a.m. Holy, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, West Coast. If you're West Coast, it is very early in the morning. Oh yeah, I'll set that up so that if anybody wants, if anybody has requests, so it won't be this week, but I'll try to get things set up for next week to have some options. Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate the suggestion. Yeah, I didn't have much set up for any interaction at all. I was just kind of being on stream while I was drawing because it just helped me be more regular to do this as a live stream. But yeah, it's very cool. Nice. Oh yeah, West Coast is midnight. 6 p.m. Where are you? If it's 6 p.m., you've got to be Where's Plexus? Yeah, because it's 5. It's like 5 here. Local Japan time. All right. So, yeah. So I apologize if I, if anyone that was waiting for the conclusion of these cartoons had to drop off because it's got so late. All right. So, well, this, yeah, that's gonna, and maybe we'll do this. All right. Five times a week minimum. Nice. Oh, Australia. Excellent. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. We're pretty far apart, but very close in time time zone. Nice. Oh no, this has now become a daily stream. Yeah. I will definitely, yeah. I mean, that would be excellent to get this cartoon back to a daily cartoon, because that was originally, when I first started it, that was the ambition, is just to do it. So I would do them, I would try to do like 4 or 5 at a time, and get enough of them banked that I could just release them. So even if I had like a weekend or something where I couldn't work, I could have a backlog to release. But yeah, daily cartoons, that would be perfect. I guess streaming would be the way to pay for that. Yeah, I just got to get out of the need to do any other freelance. That would be good. Nice. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure about this bottle. Yeah. Let me redraw this. Yeah, I think I want a fatter bottle, and I don't need this right now. Yeah, I definitely have to change my monitor setup so I can watch the comments coming in. There we go. Something a little fatter. All right. Let's see where we're going with this. All right. Oh, where's that? Here. All right, so something like that. Okay. All right, so we'll do that for now. Okay, so let me switch over. To receive our comments daily. Oh man. Nice. All right, so at this point, after I have something kind of drawn, let me switch over real quick to the comments. So, yeah, usually every week I'll take a look at... Oh, yeah, so this is a very clumsy transition. But I take a look at what's going on. There we go. What's going on in the comments. So, here's a very clunky transition. Boom. Okay. So there we go. So so this is Go Comics. So gocomics.com. Oh, you can see in the URL / let me get this out of the way. / domestic abuse. So this is the website where the archive currently is, and the cartoons for last week. So we'll take a look at the what people said and what happened. All right, so last week, the recent disappearances all pointed to the newly discovered hole in the counter. Wow, 9 likes and a comment. A recent twist in the mystery of the missing half. Lemon half. Exactly. Ed always coming through with a comment. Yeah, so this is the archive. So if anybody wants to catch up on previous, this goes back to, I think it's 2003 or 4, so it's a lot of old comics. All right, there was always heartbreak in the uneaten aftermath of any assorted snacks. So the assorted snack bag. So 5 likes and a comment. Podog, nah, you tip that bag and you get every crumb. The same with the can. I've never heard of such a thing as an uneaten snack. Nice. Yeah, so they've got a pretty nice interface for the archive, and then you can go back, based on date. Yeah, all that stuff. So let's see how far back we go. Yeah, 2004. Look at this archive. Whoa. So it stopped running daily. I can't remember. Somewhere in here, it became twice a week. But up to this point, this is all daily. That is too much. Oh. What am I doing here? All right. So now, this is the last week's cartoons, and now some random. And the reason we go random is because when this cartoon was first on Go Comics, it was hated and despised. Because this is also the website of Calvin and Hobbes and Doonesbury, and yeah. So this cartoon was very despised. So. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll show you some early stuff. It'll be shocking. But 2 comments. That's not from this long ago. Yeah, 19. Spoiled milk and broken cookies comforted no one. Broken cookies have no calories. Nice. And, one more. Nope. And Ed, broken cookies won't make you sick. All right. Are we really going to do this? Okay, yeah. So, as I warned you. So, the original idea for the cartoon, and the scale of the cartoon changed a lot too. So I drew it Sharpie on just paper and wanted to just commit to the line. So now I'm undoing and I'm manipulating the lines digitally a lot more than I did before. So the early stuff is real wonky looking and strange perspective and everything. But I liked that kind of tension, and that's why it was on the white background. So let's go back. So yeah, the earliest stuff is, where are we here? What? Oh, there we go. Oh, it did. So yeah, November. Okay, so. Oh, I guess they changed the format of all of it to twice a week. So here is a Sharpie. Sharpie on. So this is the earliest look of the cartoon itself. Yeah, the scale is still kind of big. Let's see. So a few more. Yeah, so a little more off scale. I didn't manipulate it much. I just drew it straight on the kind of A4 page, and then brought it into Photoshop and just did the coloring. And the coloring, has changed a lot too. Sliced bread sat alone, making a mental list of all the things he still felt greater than sliced bread. And a lot more sadness, maybe, in the older stuff. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is very early stuff. So the very first thing when this idea kind of came to me, I was just drawing on just a sketch pad with a Sharpie, and just kept doodling little characters and heads and things. And then I drew a little styrofoam cup and put the two little eyes and the mouth on it, and thought that, well, that I'm working so hard to try to create interesting characters with expressions and things, and I just drew a styrofoam cup with two eyes and a mouth, and it was much more expressive than anything else I'd been doing on that sheet. So I decided to see if I could make that. 'Cause the inspiration originally was kind of New Yorker style cartoon. So that was the motivation for it. And originally, kind of wrote it more out like, kind of soap opera style. Breakfast, always unpleasant, was when Pepper decided to reconcile with salt, isolating sugar. So it had, a little more drama and a few more characters. And I didn't know if I was going to repeat the same sort of characters over and over again. So it'd be like recurring characters, or if it was just different every time. And it ended up being different every time, which is a little bit of a problem for publishers, because I was approached by Barnes & Noble Publishing and one other publishing company, I can't remember, and they wanted me to sort things, like have them theme things, or have it so like a holiday, everything connected by holiday, or everything connected by kitchen or something, so that they could theme it so it was easier to sell. And so that's how I think I hurt myself the most, is just doing something different. Every cartoon having, different objects and different tones, and just a new idea every time made it so that it was difficult to categorize, and difficult to put a title on the, book or whatever. So the theming was a little bit more difficult. And I had somebody approach me about doing animation, an animated version of this as well, and I never quite figured out how to do that. Yes. That's very funny. I think I had that happen to me. Someone complimented at San Diego. I had a booth at San Diego Comic-Con and was selling the cartoons, just little self-published little booklets of the cartoons. And someone said, I really like that you didn't have to draw stupid faces on all of these objects, just to get your point across. And then he noticed that I did eyes and a mouth, and said, oh, well, yeah. So he was trying to pay me a compliment, and ended up, I fell right into the obvious trap. But I like the kind of dead eyes. I really like how that works, because it lets the writing, because the idea of the single panel. Oh, yeah. So I try to draw. Yeah. So I'm trying to draw. It's either Monday or Tuesday. So North American time, I try to stream Sunday night or Monday night. So in Japan, that's or Japan or Australia, Oceania, it's in the afternoons on either Monday or Tuesday. And so every Tuesday, I try to be as regular as possible. And where was I going? Oh yeah, so when the expression is a little bit more dead, when it's just the dead eyes, then you have to read the joke. You have to read the text to kind of get the context, and then sometimes that pushes your kind of interpretation of that expression one way or another. And so the structure, or how a single panel gag cartoon is supposed to work, is you look at the picture and you get as much information as you can, but you don't quite know what exactly is going on. You read the joke, and then you go back up to the picture, and that's actually the punchline. So the joke, is supposed to set up something, or say something funny, or point something out that's in the image that you may not have noticed the first time. So when you go back to look at the image again after having read the joke, that's kind of the punchline. And I don't consciously think of that so much when I'm writing it, but that's how it's supposed to work. So the better cartoons that I've done work that way. The punchline is actually when you go back and see, oh, that's what that is, or that's where it is. Yes, as you can see, the older stuff is much wonkier. Yes. Yeah, it's about, I'm 16 hours ahead of, I think, the West Coast. Let me double check. Oh, so I'm 17 hours ahead of LA, 14 ahead of New York, 9 from London, and only an hour and a half behind Australia. But I will need to get on a more normal schedule. So, and we haven't hit anything with comics yet, or comments. Yeah, the early stuff didn't have a lot of comments because people were still finding it. But still some likes, and people, dug deep. And actually, if you look, I don't know if that site still exists, but early on, I had someone that was reading the cartoon from Italy that really liked it and asked if they could just translate it into Italian. So I think the first 2 years of Domestic Abuse are also translated into Italian online somewhere. And I tried to do a Japanese translation, working with a translator here to do a Japanese version of it, of this cartoon. But there's too much pop culture and kind of American kind of sensibility that doesn't quite work. So it actually, to make it work, it would have to be like totally rewritten with more of a Japanese aesthetic and sensibility, because humor is very different. So kind of sad, funny, or self-deprecating, or kind of, there's a lot of styles of humor that don't work very well in Japan. So, there's a really old one with a really tiny, so you can see, kind of a very different scale. The early stuff has a very different scale, and I would do much more. Good night, Jose from Honolulu. Excellent. Oh, wow. So Australia and Hawaii checking in. Nice. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'll do that for next time. I haven't. Thank you for the suggestion, Plexus, about the drawing suggestions. That would be a very cool thing to start doing. Yes. Oh, cool. Yeah, and Streamlabs in the YouTube. Good idea. All right. Yeah, there's so much I have to catch up on. I just basically set stuff up. And all of this, gets archived. So any of this rambling can be found, in both Twitch and YouTube archives. All right. Yeah, so here is the old school. Okay, so enough of this old school. Oof. It's amazing. Yeah, so it changed a lot. But so I just, for this little part, I go through randomly and see if I can find a really mean comment, a snowball's chance. But recently, especially the people that are subscribers on Go Comics, they subscribe because they like the cartoon, and when it was people finding it for free before, they would just hate on it. I had some really great, actually got a death threat when this first, it wasn't on the Go Comics website, but somebody linked one of my cartoons. It was like a hockey, like it was like some kind of hockey forum or something, like kids hockey forum, and one of the dads linked one of my cartoons and just said, he wished I was dead, and this is ridiculous. Ridiculously, untalented stuff, trying to make a bookmark, possibly a paperweight. Yeah, so no mean comments yet, but I had some real funny reactions to things. And it also, when you're trying to be funny and people don't get it, some people just get really angry about that. That looks like it's really not my house. Looks like it's already been eaten once. Nice. Unprovoked bean spilling was often ignored. All right, so enough of these comments. So let me switch back over and do some coloring so you can see. All right, nice and clumsy transition there. So you can see. Yeah, things have been going on for almost 2 hours. So thank you for everyone that can't hang in there because it's getting too late, I appreciate you coming by. And I will definitely take your suggestions to heart and get some music and improvements as far as like drawing requests and things for the stream. It was just something I hadn't thought of before, because it always either people I knew or kind of small crowds for the stream in the past. But I've been rated and appreciate the attention, and I guess the timing too. Streaming a little bit later than my usual, the timing works a little bit better. But thank you very much for watching. No, actually, that's not a quirk, is it? Try more gold. All right. Nice. Nice. Yes, I have drawn animals in the past. Yeah, this cartoon doesn't have any animals, but I'm sure once I set up drawing requests, I can do some animals if you would like. That's definitely a possibility. What is going on? Let's see. Yeah, these are kind of incomplete thoughts because I was caught off guard again with such a big response to the stream. But I appreciate it, and please come back next time. It's probably going to be next week, but if there's a chance to get here before then, it may be before then, and I'll have things set up better for next time. All right, maybe some lines on the cup. All right. Oh, excellent. Oh, excellent. Oh, that's very cool. Thank you so much for yeah, it's great to have some viewers and some interaction. I think that's much more fun. Yeah, so big thank you to Hyphonics for finding me and letting people know. All right. So this is just the kind of simple shading, oops, that I came up with that I just screwed up. Some simple shading that I did in the first kind of Photoshop version. And yeah, it's changed a little bit. It's elaborated. I'm going to have to just color that. It's gotten a little bit more elaborate, and just to give things some weight and to actually make them, because of the kind of very indefinite background, to make it look like the objects are actually there and actually sitting somewhere. I just came up with doing this little shading style, which usually helps and gives things some weight, because that's usually the most difficult thing. And like especially when you're drawing characters and things, they need to look like they're actually standing on the ground and not floating. And it's too easy if you get the pose wrong or just the look of something wrong. It's very easy for it to look like it's floating. So this is just these little shadows are to kind of give some drama, like put the shadow it's always kind of a raking one-sided shadow, and to give it a little bit of drama when it's not really dramatic. But that's the gag, the running gag, is that it's not really that important or that dramatic, but it has a little bit of that feel to it. Very cool. 8x on the cup. All right. Because I'm indebted for the viewers. Let's see here. Let's do a readable version. Nice. Oh, actually, I need this to be under the shadow. There we go. So now my thank you will exist in syndication for all eternity. Yes, thanks for tuning in. This needs to be under... Oh. And so a real quick way, I mean, anybody that uses Photoshop probably knows this, but just a real quick way, if you have something filled, to get line work on one layer and a fill on another layer, is just select the fill, and then you've got a weird little temporary mask so that I can't draw over my line work. So it's very easy to not overlap and not go outside of your work if you just control or whatever that is, command, I guess, on a Mac. Command click on the layer, the little icon for the layer, and then you'll be selected, and then you just Control H to hide that, and then you can draw, and you kind of have just a temporary mask to do what you want with everything. Nice. Excellent. Okay, now the little eyes. So, language. That's another thing I like, that they finally didn't make you buy a separate version of Windows. There used to be a Japanese version of Windows and a English version of Windows, and now you can switch between the languages, but they made the keyboard shortcut for doing that very awkward on a Japanese keyboard, so I keep triggering it, and so I'm constantly switching languages. All right, so there's some color. All right, let's take a look at the other. Oh, I didn't even check the cur. Yeah, that works. A little smaller than usual. There we go. Let's do that. Cool. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah, this is the style that just kind of distilled over all the time. So I showed earlier in the stream, I showed some of the early stuff, and you can see, it was still trying to figure out what it was supposed to be and what it was supposed to look like in those earlier phases. There we go. And yeah, now I've kind of, more distilled it down to the style that I can, reproduce consistently. And this red, maybe a little brighter. So yeah, a style that I can, so that I have a look and kind of can distill it down. And that's the thing. So I talked about when I was just drawing and kind of drew the little styrofoam cup and said, that's it. That's the look. That's the character or a type of character that I can use for this cartoon series. And the thing, especially when you're doing an ongoing thing, that you have to decide is this does it have legs? Is it sustainable? Is it an idea that I'm eventually going to just have to end because there's nowhere to go with it? And so with it being different objects, different ideas every single time, it does become much more infinite than if it was a story-driven type of idea, because eventually you might just get tired of writing about those characters, or you might write yourself into a corner. And to actually be able to sell something to someone, to sell an idea, they have to see that it's sustainable, that you can do this for years and the idea is like still going to work. And so that was the thing that the place that I really wanted to get to with this cartoon after I had the idea, is I have to come up with a way that this will just keep working. The humor will keep working, and that I can just keep going back to this idea and have it be, kind of infinite. And so that's important with if you want to sell something to somebody, you have to be able to prove that you can sustain it. So whether it's animation or, like a series of novels or something, if you're writing, if you're a writer or whatever, to be able to, prove to a publisher that, this thing is not a one and done, and you're able to consistently keep doing it. So I did this for about 2.5, 3 years, just, for free for myself. But then I had proof of concept. And then after I had 2 years of daily cartoons, then I could start shopping that around to publishers and say, I've been doing it for this long, and so I can do that. I can keep doing this for you if you're interested in the idea. So that's a kind of an important thing to consider if you want to do something serial or ongoing for somebody, is you need to prove that the idea is sustainable and that you're able to continue to produce it at a consistent level of quality, and that it has the consistent look. So that was because I just liked the idea, and I knew that I could keep doing it. So that was an important thing to do, is just prove yourself by doing it consistently and long enough. And it should be something you enjoy. It's very dangerous to come up with an idea that you think will be popular, and then what if it is popular? You have to draw that for the rest of your life, or that's what you're going to be known for. So you have to be careful to do something that you have faith in or that you believe in, because what if it takes off and becomes something popular? I think maybe songwriters and people feel that the most. You have to tour and you have to sing the same song over and over again. Is this the song you really want to sing or be famous for the rest of your life? And you're not going to know what it is. You're not going to be able to predict how people are going to receive it. And so something might get popular that you absolutely hate. I think the best example of that is A.A. Milne, the creator of Winnie the Pooh, the writer of Winnie the Pooh. That was just a thing that he did for his son. And it took off. And now he's a children's author, and he wanted to be a serious novelist, and no one was ever going to read anything else that he wrote because he was known as the Winnie the Pooh guy. So so you have those double-edged swords sometimes, and so it's always good to believe in your ideas. If you're gonna put in the time to do something, make sure it's something that you feel something for and can be committed to. Because you can come up with a popular idea, but what if it's so popular that that's who you are for the rest of your life? And you don't want to draw Winnie the Pooh or write about Winnie the Pooh forever. All right. Okay. All right. Oreo shake. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to make anybody hungry while I'm finishing this up. All right, let me see here. Wow, it's bigger than I thought. Yeah, that's the other drawback, but I had that happen kind of mechanically with Sharpies. The more you use a Sharpie, the rounder the tip gets, so you get less fine point. No, he has to be over here, doesn't he? That the line consistency. So when I'm kind of manipulating things digitally, I think I'm okay this week. Things are pretty much the same scale and same style. This is a little bit thicker, but sometimes I'll end up with wildly different scale and line thickness, so the two cartoons don't match all that well. So hopefully the style. A whole head of lettuce. Yeah, maybe a little less. Oh, that's the wrong layer. This one. No, I guess shiny is good. All right. Okay, so after getting everything colored, I usually switch over to some convenience store. So this will make you, no, I guess it may not make you that hungry. It's not a very delicious convenience store item. But let me switch over to the convenience store. There we go. All right, so that chime you heard is something used in the Family Mart. So anytime, if you've been in Asia, or if there's Family Marts in your country, they use that chime because I guess originally in the 70s, that was just a default doorbell you can buy, and the convenience stores just put that out there. But eventually they bought the rights to it. Oh no, they bought the rights to it because it became identified. People heard that every time they went to the store, so it became identified with their brand, so they just started using it. Okay. Wow, I lost a whole... Oh, sorry, here. Sorry. It looks like I'm crashing. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, so there's some of the Sunkus Daily... What was it? Daily Yamazaki? Daily... Yeah. Family Mart, and there's also Lawson's and 7-Eleven here. So this is the Japanese, Japanese convenience store segment. So kombini above my head. So the thing I wanted to talk about this week is, is the holiday. So today, or February 3rd, it's not February 3rd any longer here, but maybe where you are, February 3rd is Setsubun in Japan. And so it's just the mark, because Japan uses the Roman calendar for their New Year, so they celebrate New Year the first kind of week, basically just the first 3 days of the New Year on the Roman calendar. So they have a, on the lunar calendar cycle, the kind of... first day of spring is February 3rd, so the last day of the lunar New Year would technically be their first day of spring. And so the holiday is Setsubun. And the closest equivalent, like the meaning of it, or the thing that works or matches it the most in kind of Western tradition, is Halloween. So Setsubun is the beginning of the Lunar New Year, so kind of Asian New Year. So you want to get rid of the bad luck or the bad things, kind of hanging over you from the previous year, reset with good luck and good health and everything for the new year. So Setsubun is that resetting. So just the way that Halloween is the night before All Hallows Day, so the Saints' Day. So it's because the Saints' Day is the most, holy day, the day before must be the most horrible day. So to fight the, bad spirits or the evil of the night before All Saints' Day, kids dress in costumes and they go to your house and you throw candy at them to make them go away. So the kids representing the bad spirits and giving them candy, the trick or treat thing. So the trick is the curse or the bad luck, and the treat is making them go away. So the same idea for Setsubun. So Setsubun, the bad luck, is always depicted by an oni. So kind of an ogre, kind of a Japanese. It's a demon or a devil, but not quite. It's more kind of an ogre or a troll. So it has horns, and it's always has red skin and kind of always wearing the spotted like animal skin, so like a leopard skin or something like that. And so they make oni masks. Actually, here. So the grocery store is always full of oni masks like this. And so the role usually of the father or somebody in the house is to put on, this isn't going to fit on my big head, but to put on the oni mask and portray the oni, the bad luck. And the kids take beans, mame. And so these are dry, kind of like a white, smaller than a pinto bean, kind of like a navy bean. I don't know, but they're dried. So it's like a light bean that's been dried out. And so they, let's see. Yeah, so, yeah, okay. So, you need to chase the bad luck out of your house. So you get to throw dried beans at your father, right? So here's kind of a depiction of an oni, if you can see that. It's not red, but that's kind of the look of the character. And so you see he has the little animal skin pants, right? So out oni and in good luck, right? So oni wa soto and fuku wa uchi. So oni wa soto, oni out, fuku wa uchi, good luck in. So fuku, good luck. So that's what you yell, oni wa soto, fuku wa uchi, and you throw these dried beans, which I will now open, these dried beans at the oni, kind of the same way you throw rice at a wedding but I think the rice represents fertility, so it's a very different meaning. But you throw the beans, which oni hate. It's like a food that they hate. I don't know why. Well, probably because they don't have all of the flavor. Yeah, they're very dry. They're just dried beans. Yeah, kind of similar to a really stale peanut. Yeah, like a not oily, very stale, dry peanut is the flavor. But so you take handfuls of these and you throw them at the camera. No, you throw them. You throw them at whoever is dressed as the oni and chase them out of the house. And for luck, you're supposed to eat the number of these. Oh, so here's a close-up of the beans. So you're supposed to eat a same number of the beans corresponding to your age. And so when you're a little kid, that's fine. You just have to eat 7 or 8 of these little beans. When you get older, I'm sure there's older people that have been rushed to the hospital in Japan because, Japanese people get very old. And if you have to eat like 95 of these horrible dried beans, I don't think you're going to be able to swallow them after the first 50. But so the idea is eat the number of beans corresponding to your age for good luck in the new year. And another thing that was kind of invented, I think, by a sushi shop in Osaka or in the kind of western part of Japan, is the roll maki sushi, or sushi with the big seaweed wrapper. So the long one, like the length of one of those sheets of seaweed. So they make the roll maki for the holiday, and it's uncut, so it's one big long sushi. And you're supposed to eat it and not talk. And if you finish it without speaking, then you have good luck for the new year. So that's something that was kind of invented in the Kansai area for a gimmick, and I'm sure to sell a lot more sushi during this time. So people usually eat sushi and have the long, in the western part, eat the long sushi and don't talk. I don't know why the don't talking thing. So dried beans and rolled sushi is kind of part of the holiday. And they also have ceremonies at the shrine that depict the same sort of thing. Like there's some costume, like an oni costume, and they give you beans to throw. And so it's just linking Japan more to the Asian Lunar New Year, which most of the other, like China and Korea, they all follow that calendar. So their New Year, and a lot of Southeast Asia, is on the Lunar New Year cycle. So their New Year is actually February, like late January, February, whereas Japan does the Roman calendar. So that's a holiday that we're in the middle of right now. So little kids love throwing the beans and eating the beans. So that's a very, very Japanese thing. And they like counting their age. So every year they get to eat one more and all that good stuff. So so that is the holiday, and it's one of the more Asian holidays. Doesn't, like, the closest equivalent would be Halloween, but it doesn't have any other major equivalent in the West that I know of. Maybe somebody knows of something more. Nice. All right. So that is the little convenience store segment. And these are the beans. So you're only going to see these like right at the beginning of February in the stores. But convenience stores everywhere have these little dried beans. And on the day after, they sell them very cheap because nobody wants to eat these otherwise. Or like I said, they're very dry, miserable dried peanuts. All right. So back to drawing. So here's the part that's probably going to last forever because I have to write the joke now, and I'm not even sure what I'm doing. All right. Excellent. Well, thank you for everyone that's hanging in there through this whole thing. I know sometimes this isn't a very exciting stream, and now I'm eating beans on microphone. There we go. Okay, so the idea for this was the Impossible Burger, right? So they don't have those. I mean, I think eventually. Oh, that's the one thing that this is missing, isn't it? Is a little bit of shine on the burger. There we go. All right. Okay, so here we go. So everything is set up. So, Impossible Burger. Okay. The burger. Okay, wait. So edible and impossible. Okay. Burger was both impossible. Yeah, there's something better. And inedible. Edible. Not both. The burger was quite possible. Yeah, I don't think I want to have people make the stretch of knowing the brand Impossible Burger. And actually, if I'm going to use that, I probably want to trademark that. Like, do the little TM. That's a trademark, I'm sure. All right. Let's see. A possible burger. All right. Well, they're vegetables, and so the reason that I made them vegetables is because it's supposed to be a veggie burger. So no connection. They felt no connection. No connection. No. This so-called impossible burger. So-called is hyphenated, right? A knife. Oh, I like the sacrifice idea. That's probably better than the veggie burger idea, isn't it? Or if it is a veggie burger, they didn't see what possible. Yeah, so what is the gimmick? Made from plants. Plant-based, that's right, plant-based. How about seeing... Oh, come on. Sometimes Photoshop is a little laggy. Seeing that... everyone involved was plant-based. That's way too long, way too wordy. Everyone involved was plant-based. They didn't seem involved. So here's the most boring part is watching me think. Imposter. Imposter. Oh, excellent. That's very good. Yes, an imposterable burger. Nice. Yes. Plant-based would definitely be an imposter. The plant-based burger felt like a total imposter. Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, the plant-based burger felt like a there's better rhythm to that, but plant-based. Oh, so the burger, plant-based imposter is good. Plant-based imposter. That burger. Yeah, maybe meat-free burger. Yeah, their marketing stuff for Impossible Burgers. Made from plants, Impossible Foods. Meatless. The meatless burger was nothing more than felt like a I like meatless burger felt like a plant-based imposter. The rhythm of that is not perfect, but thank you very much for the thank you very much for the yes, Minisaur Tell us tell us your cheesy vegan joke. Nice. Yeah, I'm almost up to 2,000 cartoons. So, Plexus, if you would like to write an algorithm or an AI that would actually write my cartoons, that would be amazing. I could retire. Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't take much to draw like me, and it would definitely take even less to write like me. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, once it... yeah, please feel free. Yeah, I don't have a good... of course, the cartoons, the jokes themselves have been... they're written in text in the Photoshop file, but the final cartoon, it's pixels, so there's no easy way to copy and paste. I don't have any data, any metadata or anything with the actual text of the joke in there, but that would be pretty... yeah, that'd be pretty funny. I guess you could... I don't know if the font is that friendly, but you could almost OCR the cartoons out of that. But that would be hysterical. Nice. All right. How about instead of felt, how about was nothing more? Felt like an imposter. I like was nothing more. The meatless burger was nothing more than... of course, it just doesn't fit on one line. The meatless burger was nothing more than a plant-based imposter. The rhythm of that is better. Imposter is beautiful, though. Thank you so much. Oh, Safirio. Excellent. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. Very cool. See, computer science. You computer science guys make this work. I'm so reluctantly using a computer. That's so funny. I can't believe I'm actually, like drawing this digitally. That's the last thing I imagined I would be doing. Good writing. I have no idea what's going on here. Let's see. Maybe something in the bottle. Go. Yeah, be under the label, but above. Maybe here. And a little bit lighter. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of liquid in there. Yes. Yes, computers are amazing, but digital, I agree. I think that was like once, file sharing and torrenting and everything happened. I think there was a Russian, a Russian programmer or somebody that basically said, and I agree with this because I feel this, like with creating art and cartoons. Once something becomes digital, it has no value. Like even though we do sell digital files and you can sell software and everything, it's infinitely reproducible unless you're doing digital rights management and stuff. So I really feel like even though like this cartoon could go everywhere, you could infinitely reproduce it and it could be circulated everywhere, and more people are going to see this digitally than if it was printed somewhere. But at the same time, it's the markets and the way the economies work now. It we don't quite know what to do with digital media. It's still in this like very early stage where it's so hard. Who owns it? How does it have value? If it's infinitely reproducible, there's no scarcity, there's no control of it, and everything that we have, all commodities and, food and oil and everything is based on its scarcity or its, supply and demand. And digital is just a thing that hasn't been, understood yet. So I feel very much doing digital work that as soon as I finish something, it doesn't have any value because it's immediately stolen or can be immediately copied, and something can be done with it that I don't even know what's happening to it. So it's always the new idea. So the only value that I have in the market creating this cartoon is I can create a new one. I can create another one, and I can keep making an original cartoon. But as soon as this goes into an archive, does it have any value? It's difficult. That's that's just a thing that I get stuck on, with the idea of things being non-tangible. And I guess I'm just more analog than is healthy in this world. But let's see, what are we doing here for this joke? So it's just beverages. All right, so something about an equality, let's see. So, because water and, I don't know, it's a soft drink. I don't think it's coffee, although a brown cup looks like coffee, doesn't it? Water and some kind of alcohol. Water, alcohol, and coffee. Something about beverages. What? Let's see. All right. So what is the text here? What is the joke here? So they were trying to find they're trying to find something in common besides wet, or they're trying to find I don't want it to start sounding like a chemistry joke. Being liquid, having, let's see, being a beverage was hardly a group identity. Identity. I was listening to a lot of stuff about identity today in podcasts, and that's so important now. And it's very funny. Like, people want to see themselves like the big, I don't know if it started with identity politics, but the idea that you can't relate to anything unless you see something that looks like yourself in a movie. And so movies need to be, more diverse because everybody needs to see themselves now. That's odd because it means nobody can relate to anybody else. But I should turn this back to black. Oh, it's already set to black. A beverage. Yeah, being a beverage was not a group identity. Something about... yes. Coffee. All right. Being beverages. Yeah, so what separates? So alcohol price. Mm, mm, mm. Hmm. Yeah, let's see. The They needed to have more in common than being beverages. They had to... Coffee break. Yeah, sorry, this is the... If you haven't watched the stream before, this is the most boring part. It's like watching someone thinking on a live stream. So I try to think out loud. So that's part of it. And I don't know if that's interesting or not, but sometimes when I've heard people, kind of just brainstorm or free associate to come up with things, that's sometimes interesting. I don't know if I've ever done that very well. But I try to think out loud instead of thinking silently because this is a live stream. All right. They were beverages. Beverage is a funny word. It sounds funny, especially something identifying itself as a beverage sounds funny to me. But being liquid, being spillable, being... Yes, the water would be free if this is a restaurant. Their common enemies were thirst. Common enemies were thirst and evaporation. Thirst. Two, they have no lids on top. Yes, that's true. Tell me about your last weed experience. Tell us about your last weed experience. Where is this coming from? Studying. The cap. Yeah, seems they are looking at the cap. Oh, yeah, so that would be... Okay, so that works. Yeah, I think... Okay, thirst and evaporation made me laugh, so I think that has to be part of it. If I'm spelling it right. Yeah, thirst and evaporation. They're mortal enemies. Last week, everyone has much more recent weed experiences, I think. Everybody on stream. Yeah, I can't even... I'm trying to think. The worst time was definitely the elevator experience. I've had good experiences since then. Yeah, there's been a couple of good experiences with... It usually involves women. Yeah, I like girls that enjoy smoking and then relaxing together. Yeah, some girls really... That'll put somebody in the mood pretty fast. Yes. That was probably the last time. Yeah, was probably going to a movie, going out and around, dinner and a movie, but yeah, getting high in her car. That was probably the last time. But that was so good. Yeah, that was the best. But it was really strong. Again, it was really strong stuff, but I wasn't stupid enough, because I think when you're like in a group and you're passing stuff around and somebody just passes it to you, I don't know my limit anymore. I don't know my tolerance anymore. And so people are passing stuff around. I'll just keep taking it. Just say, thank you. Just keep accepting it and don't realize how messed up I'm getting. And I don't have a good gauge for that anymore, especially because stuff is so strong. But yeah, but if just the right amount, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. All right. Oh yeah, like the cap isn't alive. They are confused. No, yeah, I've just seen people doing, making dabs and stuff online, just like in videos. I haven't tried any oil, like no hash oil or anything. So I know like once vape pens and everything became popular, like people would just put hash oil or concentrate and smoke, be able to smoke anywhere. But yeah, I missed all of that. I was in Japan by then, so the weedless country of Japan. So I missed out on that. Thirst and evaporation. I'm sorry. I'm obsessed with thirst and evaporation, and that's why they're looking at the cat, because that would prevent their main common enemies were thirst and evaporation. That's kind of redundant. Their common enemies were thirst and evaporation. See, the shorter the better if it works. Like if the shorter the idea, and if there's enough in there, it works. And the other thing, what was the other thing? Oh, the other thing with the creation of this cartoon is when it kind of came up with the idea, and I think it's true of anything. If you're writing a story, or it's more aesthetic and formal if you're painting or drawing, more fine art. But you have to come up with rules, because creativity does best with rules, and that sounds kind of weird, but because then you either decide to break them or not, but you establish like clear rules. And fiction definitely needs rules, like world building and characters and story. You need to establish like what the rules of this world are, or people can't follow it. But with this cartoon, once I came up with the idea of the inanimate objects with the little eyes, so kind of like the Toy Story thing or whatever, they're alive when you're not looking at them or whatever. When it's that idea, I had to come up with, would I ever show a hand, or would I ever show the consequence of human interaction, and what was the relationship between actual people and what these things were and how they affected them. And so yeah, just decided the joke could never be a question, because that seemed to be too easy to write. You would just write stupid questions, and then the whole thing just becomes a bunch of questions, because a question isn't a joke and it's not funny. It can never be a punchline. And also that I would show the consequences of human interaction and how that related to like why the situation was miserable, or why their life was unpredictable, or why they were in jeopardy or whatever. But there'd be consequences, but never be evidence of human interaction, or there would never be like a human body part, like a foot in a shoe or anything related. It was all inanimate objects isolated, and then giving it that background. So once I made those rules, then I could really start thinking of ideas and how I would depict that. So and then decide if those worked and if I wanted to break any of those rules. And that's when you can be playful or funny, is if you decide to break some of your rules after you've established them and people kind of get what you're doing. But that's important. And I think probably as computer science, like, yeah, that's all computer science is basically building systems of rules and how things are going to interact. But the funny thing is with creating like a kind of living creative thing is come up with rules that you're going to follow, rules that you're not going to break. Otherwise you get lost. Otherwise, you too easily go, well, why don't I just do this, or why don't I do that? Then it's not, you need to change what you're doing. You're doing something else. If you establish your rules and follow them, then you're staying consistent and you're doing the same thing. If you don't have any set of rules, then you can end up doing something completely different and confusing people that are trying to, enjoy what you're doing, or because it's the communication, it's the, what is communicated, the humor or whatever the idea is that's communicated between each of these cartoons. That's important. So if you're doing something creative, remember to make rules for yourself, because that really, really fuels your creativity, because you have limited choices and you need to push yourself as hard as you can within those limited choices. Okay, let's finish writing this. All right. Their common enemies were thirst. The only thing they had, I guess, yeah, they're common enemies. Oh, yeah, maybe someday. Yeah, the camera is fixed right now, so I can't. Yeah, this is just an office. Yeah, so I'll do that sometime. I used to, in the old old one, I had the curtains open behind me. It's just the highway. There's this Japanese highway like right behind me into some little buildings. But yeah. Actually, it's getting pretty. Yeah, it's 6:00. Yeah, it's going to be pretty dark, so there'll be nothing to see. But I promise next time I'll open the curtains and you'll be able to see what's behind me. I'm just on the second floor of an office building in Osaka. All right. Good. Oh yeah, Chaos Square Body. Yeah, it's very illegal in Japan, so you can't. You can get it, but the consequences, and like because I've got a wife and a kid in Japan. If I, messed around with weed and got caught, I would have to leave Japan and wouldn't be able to come back. Or have to serve a prison sentence. I don't know like how strict the punishment is, but very often then that basically blacklists you. You're out of the country and you can't come back. But so they have super strict drug laws here just to kind of protect themselves from all the illegal stuff that would come in from Southeast Asia and China, all the synthetic stuff that would come in from China. But you can get it, and people do smoke. It's just I guess it's like the 1950s all over again. You get real paranoid, and I'm not sure the quality either. I know that America, the stuff's got much better in the U.S. and very strong, but I don't know about the quality here. All right. Their common enemies were thirst and evaporation. I think that's gonna have to do it for that one. I think that's as much as I'm gonna love it. The meatless burger was nothing more than a plant-based imposter. Okay, I think these work. I think we did it. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna have to call it a night. It's gonna be dinner time soon. But I appreciate everybody that's here. So thank you so much, and anybody that subscribed. I'll have a quick look. Yes. So everybody that subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate. You taking a look and hopefully enjoying this hang. And I will definitely take you up on your suggestions. I think some SoundCloud ambience, something in the background, and some drawing request links and list, and then a link to Streamlabs. I will get all of that working for next time. So thank you so much for joining me. If you want to see more of this and more of my rambling and hear me talk art and Tarkovsky, that was last week. So take a look in the art archive for last time. And I appreciate everybody chiming in. It was really fun to have the distraction. It makes my streams really long now, so that's nice. But I really appreciate people being around. Let me take a quick look. There we go. Nice. Well, 4 a.m. Get some sleep. Hopefully you don't have nobody has early classes or anything tomorrow, or a 6 a.m. Job they have to show up to. Holy crap. 4 a.m. All right. So I'm off for dinner. Everybody have a good one. And thank you again for joining me. So abusecartoons.com is the website. At abusecartoons on Twitter. Streamlabs is Abuse Cartoons as well. GoComics.com/domestic abuse for the archive. So if you want to go all the way back and see how this looked, and then also Patreon. So I've also got a Patreon. So patreon.com/abuse cartoons. If you want to make this stream happen more often and get my book or any of the some original art or anything, that's on Patreon. And thanks again for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. So have a good one, and take care.